You said that women are misguided. We are not misguided. We do not need you to shepherd us.
How's it going? Hello?
Hello.
Would you call yourself a feminist?
I would.
Yes, an intersectional feminist.
When you hear the word feminism, what comes to mind?
Marxism?
To me,
Wait, that guy's an actual incel.
You love your father, the devil.
If anyone agrees with that guy, dude, that's pathetic. I'm sorry. But that guy's like a straight up incel. He's been on like many fucking Jubilee videos, okay? He's like, I mean, first of all, like, come on. He's literally been on like all of the Jubilee videos where he's like, isn't he kind of like what do you call it? Isn't he kind of like the fucking like low key white nationalist too? Yeah, he's got some big ass calves, but what are you gonna do? He's literally wearing the same clothes. Yeah, true.
Feminism, what comes to mind?
Marxism?
to me,
Yeah, feminism says Marxism to me too. Yeah.
is fairness.
I think that it's unfortunately misguided.
Feminism is a flawed movement.
When you hear the phrase men's rights, what comes to mind?
Aggression.
Advocating for the human rights of man as a class.
I start laughing.
What do you hope to get from the conversation today?
I would hope to get some insight and probably, if anything, agree on a lot more than disagreeing.
I actually hope to get a little bit more understanding of why some men think this way.
Do you think...
Is he Turkish? He sounds Turkish.
Rights activists and feminism?
We'll see.
Okay, let me just fucking say something. All right, there are annoying rad femmes. We all know. Okay, I'm just gonna start off by saying shit that most people are not. Most people new people at least will be surprised to hear me say. Okay, there are definitely white feminists out there that are fucking annoying as shit. There are definitely some feminists out there who like go way over the top and don't even, in my opinion, as a guy, I don't really, I don't know how much that would be important to other feminists, but like there are definitely feminists out there who aren't really doing the best advocacy for feminism. Okay, so having said that, though, feminism, as it's like in its normal academic understanding, is just egalitarianism, is just demanding equality for men and women. Okay, there are TERFs on the other hand. There is trans exclusionary radical feminists who claim that like trans women aren't really women or whatever the fuck. Then there are swerves who think that like sex workers are scum or that they shouldn't be exploiting themselves. And then you have the lib feminists who are also kind of like the most popular ones, who are really basic and annoying for the most part, that say stuff like
you love your father.
That think that like, you know, Hillary Clinton becoming president is actually going to do incredible things for women just by virtue of her being a woman, when that is obviously not the case. The best example of this I can give you about this is like in CSGO. React Anderson in CSGO. Okay, the best example I can give you as far as like the silliness of liberal capitalist feminism is kind of like the Nike commercials, like where Nike will advocate for like powerful, strong female figures. Meanwhile, they're literally exploiting fucking women and young girls in factories in Indonesia. So that kind of feminism is not necessarily bold, or that kind of feminism is not really like true feminism that is uplifting women all around the world, but instead just adopting the aesthetics of feminism. So there are plenty of wrong kinds of feminist movements. I've talked about this extensively. I lost literally every single person that came in from Poke's host. Holy shit. Now, having said that, though, the academic definition of feminism is totally valid, totally reasonable. Every single person in here, no matter, unless they're like straight up reactionary, would 100% agree with that. Now, let's talk about men's right activism for a second, okay? Men's right activism is not like feminism in the sense that there isn't like an actual, an actual thing that they're trying to address. More often than not, it's just like
You love your father, the
more often than
devil.
not, there is not like a real, inequality that they're trying to address. It's just like inherently reactionary. It's kind of fucking stupid. There are a few areas where like men's right activists can actually advocate for inequality, advocate against inequality. For example, like men being raped
You
and
don't
shit
love
like
the
that.
spirit of justice.
You know what I
You
mean?
love your father, the
Like
devil.
men being raped or I guess like men having a higher rate of suicide. Like these are problems that we need to address, right? These are very serious problems that impact men that need to absolutely be addressed. However, more often than not, like men's right activists aren't addressing that, and instead they are addressing like dumb shit. Like, well, this is a female character in a video game. What the fuck? Why is it? What the fuck's going on? This is bullshit. Men losing custody battles. Yeah, that's another one that like I guess that's another area of contention too. Okay, let's finish it real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna DM her.
Hi, my name is Zach, and I am 24 years old.
This is Chris. I'm a PhD student at the University of Southern California, and I'm also a Title IX specialist who challenges discrimination against men on college campuses. And I'm 30 years old.
Hi, I'm Derek. I also go by Brendio. I'm a YouTuber, and I'm also known as an incel, which is an involuntarily celibate.
Hi, my name is Alicia. I am a writer, poet, and teaching artist.
Hi, I currently work in the pet health industry, and I'm 30.
I'm 24. I'm a graduate student with a degree in health sciences, and I'm excited to be here today.
Can I get my men's rights activists in the left? And
Wait, let's just run through the fucking people again.
Poet and teaching artist.
Hi, I currently work in the pet health industry,
What the fuck?
and I'm 30.
I'm 24. I'm a graduate student with a degree in health sciences.
Okay, never mind. They're not exactly all academics on the feminism side either. Okay, I don't know what the fuck is a pet health industry, but
I'm excited to be here today.
why not just vet? Wouldn't you just say vet?
Can I get my men's rights activists in the left and my feminists on the right? You step forward if this statement is true for you. I believe men and women are different but equal.
I know as a woman that I don't have the same physical strengths. Men and women are built differently. I think whenever things are built differently, it's for a reason, right? But at the same time, the amount of limits that have been put on women historically, like the fact that not too long ago, we were just allowed to start voting. Even today, like the wage gap, just all types of stuff, like women just don't have a lot of rights that are just, it should have nothing to do with what gender we are to be able to be paid equally or just be treated with respect, so.
I'm gonna keep it real.
I do believe that, of course,
Okay, this guy's Turkish, I think, or something, but I'm gonna keep it real. I think these girls are gonna get rolled. I'm sorry. I like even before we start this fucking convo, men's right activists are machines, dude. Okay, they are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked. He's going to drop so many stats. He's going to gish gallop the shit out of these women. And by the end of it, they're probably not going to look great. Let's see.
there are biological differences between men and women. And of course, there should also be legal equality. Of course, I disagree with the idea that women face systemic discrimination. You just mentioned the wage gap, which has been debunked so many times.
I've studied evolutionary biology quite a bit. And
see, this is what I mean. Like, bitch, you're a YouTuber incel, dude. What do you mean you studied evolutionary biology quite a bit? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Let's see. I watched so many JF Garepi YouTube videos about where they talk about how the skull sizes of the African American is a much different than the white skull size, and therefore there is a genetic differences. So yeah, same logic applies to women and men as well. All right, let's see.
Men and women are very different from not just a physical, the bone structure, the neurological department as well as the chemical balances. And also, I don't believe that men and women are equal under the law either, or they should be rather. Children are not equal under the law. And it's not because we hate children, it's because we love them and we want to protect them.
So if you believe we're not equal, then that you're inferring that one would be greater
What?
than the other.
Well, so let me
So that's what
chime in
I'm
with my
trying to-
perspective.
yeah.
As far as not being equal, I don't think that necessarily means inferior or superior. When it comes to certain things like roles like childbearing, a woman is going to be far more productive and a lot more nurturing than, say, a man. And when it comes to doing a lot more of the heavy lifting and the work, a man is...
I'm sorry, but wait, I need to go back to this. Imagine being fucking this
Not
guy.
equal, then
Love them.
you're
Imagine being this guy and being like, well, children and men are not equal either. It's like, dude, you would literally die if it wasn't for your mommy feeding you chicken tendies for all the good boy points you've secured. What the fuck are you even saying, dude? Like, as though this guy can live in the wild. You know what I mean? Like, what? Well, women need to be nurtured and paid attention to and cared for. They are kind of like a child. I, on the other hand, probably would die if I saw sunlight for more than 20 minutes. Jesus Christ, dude. Who is he protecting, dude? Who is he protecting? I could sneeze on this guy and he would literally die because he'd be exposed to bacteria that he's never seen before because he's never outside, okay? Why do these guys always think they're like mega chads? Like, I just like, it's so weird. By virtue of being a man, do you automatically become this like, this figure of masculinity? What the fuck? What is this argument? Okay, let's just keep going.
inferring that one would be greater than the other.
Well, so let me
So that's what
chime in
I'm
with my
trying to-
perspective.
yeah.
As far as not being equal, I don't think that necessarily means inferior or superior. When it comes to certain things like roles like childbearing, a woman is going to be far more productive and a lot more nurturing than, say, a man. And when it comes to doing a lot more of the heavy lifting and the work, a man is probably going to be more suited for that role. And I don't think that makes them any better or worse.
Yeah, you know, roles like fucking what? Picking up heavy stuff and putting them in top shelves. Like, okay, there are industries in which men can excel over women that are, I guess, more physical, but is that the overwhelming majority of fucking industries? Like, what are we talking about? And even then, aren't there plenty of women who could still do just as good as a job? This guy, like, what does he think? We still live in, like, the industrial working phase where everyone in America is still, like, working in the coal mines? It's so stupid. Nice, dude. Nice. Nice point there.
We are just built, created, and born different.
I would also like to elaborate. I am not saying that they are worse overall or better overall.
They complement
like
each
he
other.
said, yeah, they do.
complement each other
You know,
beautifully.
They work very well together.
We
when
need
they
each
are
other for
working in that
for
proper-
offspring. I
yeah.
mean, that's part of the beauty of it. And I think trying to equalize them and make them the same and, you know, transition and all that, I don't believe.
He's still right, though? Dude, no, he's not right. He would be right if men were all over 6'4" and women were automatically 5 foot. There are still plenty of weak soy boys on the men's side, including this fucking guy. Like, who do you think is going to do more heavy lifting? This fucking guy or like a woman of average size? Okay? Get the fuck out of here. What is this? What is this dumb shit? And here's the thing, okay? If you're a soy boy, that's perfectly fine and awesome. Okay? That's perfectly fine and awesome. Just don't be a fucking idiot and act like all women are fragile creatures and shit.
And I think trying to equalize them and make them the same and, you know, transition and all that, I don't believe is going to be the most conducive when it comes to raising children, but also just for overall well-being.
I want to note that you brought up children being unequal to adults. I just hope you weren't comparing women to children.
I mean, it was technically a comparison of women
Okay,
and children.
I don't need you to
suppose.
protect me. I just need you not to harm me. I can protect myself. I'm very capable of doing what I need to do. Okay?
Okay, sure.
100%.
Yeah, this guy.
I am an incel or an incel advocate, I suppose. I don't hate women at all. This
guy's such a grifter.
And they have aspects that are superior to men as well. It's just very contextual.
The classic argument that Nazis always make is like, well, you know, the Jews their IQ points are actually higher on average than whites, or the Asian IQ point is actually higher than whites on average. So I'm not saying that, you know, one race is superior. I'm just simply saying that they're different than one another. They're different. Also, here's a number of things that we should do with that information now that I set the baseline as descriptive. Here's a number of things we should do with that difference. It's so funny. It's like, yeah, it's just simply different, which is why they should stay in the kitchen, whereas men should be out there doing the heavy work and the lifting, and we should go back to a traditional society. Also, this is exclusively because, or at least for a lot of incels, the reason why they want a more traditional society and more rigid gender norms is literally because they think it will increase their chances of fucking, okay? And what they fail to recognize, or what they fail to realize, is like, even in a, for example, white nationalist society, there's still going to be that same Pareto principle that they absolutely despise, okay? 20% of the Chads are still going to fuck your girlfriends unless you become a little bit cooler. And there are definitely plenty of things you can do to become cooler. Just number one, keep it cool. Okay? Just don't be constantly talking about how you're a fucking incel. I mean, I do it all the time too, but just stop self-cucking yourself. Good way to start. 2, take a shower. Important. Okay? 3, force yourself into awkward social situations where you're as polite as possible in an effort to make yourself better. It's like a muscle. Train your social muscles. Anyway. Let's keep going.
Love the spirit of justice.
Hit the gym.
Love your father, the devil.
Incel ended war. The yellow hoodie to this video shoot and not one of Domi's champion. Hoodies dance game.
I think that toxic masculinity is definitely a real thing. It's kind of just the idea of what masculinity should be, but it goes wrong a lot of the times, saying that violence, sex, power, being a controlling person makes you a man.
I see it in very unfortunate.
Wait, I'm sorry. Someone said short male, take a shower to grow taller. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you're a short male and you genuinely think that like you can't get fucking laid because of how short you are, which is disproven by even looking at someone like Destiny. I mean, I guess he's not even that short, but whatever. You know what I mean. Everyone calls him a fucking manlet, and he's out there getting more pussy than all of you guys. And you could look at that. But even if that's not enough for you, because you're going to say, oh, well, he's rich or whatever, he has clout. Well, okay, obviously it's not just about being short then. Then you can actually work on other things and eliminate that shortcoming if you consider that to be one. And even if none of that works for you, okay, if you're short and it's impossible for you to get laid, why the fuck would a white nationalist society all of a sudden create a utopia in which you could get laid? The tall Aryans are still going to fuck all the girls. That's my point. So maybe instead of looking at like different reasons as to existential reasons as to why you can't get laid, maybe, just maybe, and trying to change the system in like a meaningless way, just maybe look to self-improvement a little bit.
Places like when the young men or boys in my family, even from like toddler age, are told you shouldn't be crying. Boys don't cry. And what that turns into, I see it when I'm in a bookstore and a guy who tries to get my number says, why y'all always gotta act like that? And he sincerely had this like cracking voice, like he was hurt, but it was an entitlement. And that's toxic masculinity. It's saying like, you don't realize how your behavior is harmful.
What does toxic masculinity mean? Is it character traits? Is it upbringing?
The suppression of feeling for a lot of men, because throughout childhood, they're told man up. So because of that, there's a lot of repression. Repression then is usually channeled into anger for some people because they not always know how to express because they're told not to express.
So upbringing and
That's part of
environment.
it,
Okay.
yes.
but not something that's inherently a part
No.
of men.
No.
I think that, when you're showing your emotions, especially to random people, random women in some cases, they will view you as weak. I was raised by a single mother. I love her. She's my mom. I love her. But I could have used being told to act like a man. I think back, there were some cases where I was too emotional, and that negatively affected how I, what happened to me. And
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What is your definition of weak as a man?
Not being as forward as you could be, not being as honest, or trying to be not as emotional as you don't need to be. You don't have to cry over a cut. I know sometimes cuts hurt a lot, but sometimes it's necessary to be strong for the benefit of not just yourself, but for the people around you. It's fine to act emotional in certain cases, but I don't think it's fine to act that way with a woman. Maybe you have a really good friend and he sees you cry, he's your best friend, and you're crying about something really personal. I think that's fine.
I feel like you're.
What if the best friend is a woman? Is he just like throwing that out as an option? He didn't even make a single coherent point here. I'm just. You only cry to your girl? What? I don't know. He said you should never be crying around women. And then he said you can cry in front of your best friend. It's fine. So that kind of is weird, but who knows?
You're conflating two different situations because you started off with saying a random person or even women. So it feels like, okay, this is a woman that you don't have a bond with or any type of relationship with. And then you mentioned, or in front of your best friend. That's okay to cry. Well, that woman could be your best friend. That, so.
I don't think you can be friends with a woman, so.
Because you don't see it
You
as
don't
equal, as
love
you
the
said
spirit
before.
of justice.
I don't think
You
showing
love your
emotions is a sign
father
of
the
weakness.
devil.
I actually think it's a sign of strength. Men do live shorter lives, and that's because of a repression of emotions, and that's due
Causes
to many
stress.
things that patriarchy has instilled.
Repression of emotions.
It has been shown that a person's well-being, their lifespan is shortened when they are not able to express their emotions. In addition, when they don't have physical touch or when they don't have a partner to keep them company. We are human beings here. We need to talk to each other. And if you think that our health isn't affected when you're not able to express that you are sad or upset, you're wrong. I think that men's rights activists are only men's rights activists as a response to women expressing that they want more equality. I don't think they focus on actual men's rights issues, and rather it's just an attack on women and feminism.
Today, women have more advantages than men.
I can speak from a hiring standpoint when it comes to things like affirmative action, and there are certain roles that traditionally men and women have been able to serve in, and now women can basically do all of those things, right? Because we've had such a strong advocacy for equal representation in the workplace. Whereas, for example, you'll never find a man as a midwife nurse, and I don't think it's appropriate. That's why there are those differences.
Wait, what?
Women in the most important parts of society.
Wait, why the fuck not? What? These guys end up cucking men. The funniest part about this is for a group of individuals who talk so much about uplifting men, they literally just cuck men all the time. They fuck up men's opportunities. They fuck men up by talking about how men should always suppress their feelings. It's dude, what are you talking about, dude? I mean, she provided a study. We can check it if you want. But I've read a couple, and it's fairly. It's so weird. This is the very mentality that hurts men in the long run. Being unable to go seek a therapist, or being unable to express your emotions in times when you're angry or frustrated, or not just angry or frustrated. That's actually an acceptable emotion to show. But at times when you're emotional or sad, it's so stupid. It ends up hurting men and contributing to the fucking insanely high suicide rate. It's just it literally hurts men more. Being a men's right activist in 2019 is hurting men more than it hurts anyone else. Having this guy as your advocate Like, imagine, and I'm saying this guy's your advocate, as though like I'm not a part of this fucking the gender that they're trying to protect or whatever. But like, literally, like I don't want this guy fucking speaking for me, dude. What the fuck? This guy hasn't figured shit out. At least like the early stage grifters had, like, you know, the Tony Robbins of the world had like figured themselves out from a functional point of view. Aesthetically, they were wealthy. You know what I mean? Through their grifts, they cleaned up nice. You know what I mean? Even Joel Osteen, perfect example. Joel Osteen is a Christian megachurch evangelical grifter. Okay? But at least he presents himself as a successful individual, and he is to some degree. Whereas this guy hasn't even figured his own shit out. So what the fuck is he doing?
Have an advantage. There's a lot of positions that men simply aren't getting hired at anymore because of, you know, the fact that they're a man. And it's not just in the workforce, it's also, I would say, you know, it's a lot easier for a woman to find a relationship, even if she, you know, says it's finding the right guy is so hard. It really isn't. But sometimes for a lot of guys, finding a girl at all is hard.
Wait, I didn't even understand.
Says it's a lot easier for a woman to find a relationship, even if she, you know, says it's finding the right guy is so hard. It really isn't. But sometimes for a lot of guys, finding a girl at all is hard.
That statement alone is only applicable to you if you already believe what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like, dude, everyone has issues, man. Like, I don't fucking understand. It's literally just like, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, well, I agree. I kind of feel like he's right. So I'm just, and I think I agree with him. So it's fine. And by the way, speaking of which, I fucking cry about not having good relationships with women all the time on the stream. Everyone shits on me for it nonstop. Okay. So Chads don't have it easy either. It's more about personal problems that we all go through. Also capitalism.
If I have to consider what I wear before stepping out the house, because I don't want to draw some type of attention, I don't know how many other men have to consider, is this outfit going to be deemed safe for me? Any situation that I have experienced where like I physically felt endangered simply because I don't want to give my number out. It's part of that entitlement for men. You're not entitled a conversation with me. You're not entitled to my number.
That aside, it's like, are you going to make one example of the entitlement of men when it comes to asking for your number be the all-encompassing thing that all men have a problem when it comes to approaching women?
Well, firstly, it's not just an example. It's not necessarily all men. I don't dislike men. I love sports, I play video games, I have bros, I hang out with dudes. We just want men to realize that if you have friends that are having locker room talk, as a man, as an ally, please say something to your friends.
Do you think repressing that is really the solution here, though? If it's in a healthy male space.
There's nothing
I don't think that's
about
healthy. I think it's
No,
toxic in itself.
I mean, if you're making jokes and you're doing all of that.
Jokes that are harmful jokes are not healthy because they just lead to people normalizing things. People always say, oh, it's just a joke, but when someone else hears it, they don't realize how that resonates, and again, how that turns into violence. Like, this is not an isolated situation. I'm only thinking of 3 off the top of my head, because if I think of too many, I'm gonna spiral
So
right now.
what's the
Okay, that's terrible. All right, here's where I lose everyone in my audience that is like woke or whatever, but this is a terrible look. It's a terrible look. I feel like you got to pick and choose your battles. I completely understand where they're coming from, but that is not a battle you can win. Like, that's just like, and also the other problem is like they're so vague about what kind of jokes they're talking about. Like, are you making rape jokes? Like, what are we doing? Like, what kind of jokes are we talking about? Like, what is the setting? It isn't a battle you can win either. It's funny meme there, buddy. Funny meme there, Bow Bow. I think that's one of those battles where it's like already pretty established at that point that it doesn't need to be had over and over again. unless you already are inclined. Anyway, I don't want to get drama baited, but they're being vague, and I think they're intentionally being vague. Both of them are. I think both sides here are being purposely obtuse so that they don't like get nailed down on anything specific. And women engage in like locker room talk in their own way. But a perfect example of this would be like, okay, if she were to say like a couple guys are having a conversation and they're talking about like pussy sizes or something. I don't know what the fuck, whatever. Like someone says, oh my God, like this girl has flappers or whatever, right? And I know that a lot of people are gonna immediately revolt and have this weird reaction to that and say, what the fuck, that's disgusting. Well, okay, women talk about dick sizes and dick shapes. Like, I would consider that or classify that as like totally in the realm of like acceptable conversation that both parties can have in the privacy of their own spaces or with one another, literally. Hassan doesn't know how pussy looks. Flappers. I was talking about fucking... I don't want to talk about it in like more graphic detail. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking about? A lot of people have never seen a vagina, so... It's not. Curved up is the best shape. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. I think breast feels like bags of sand. I bet you think your tits feel like bags of sand. Yeah, I've never had sex. So, or I've never had sex, nor have I ever touched a female woman. So I don't know. I guess they feel like bags of sand. It's kind of toxic in my opinion if you can't just say the word. It's anatomy. I know that the reference, the bags of sand reference was a 40-year-old virgin reference.
The alternative, men shouldn't talk about these things.
No, I think
No
men
one's
can
ever
have a
said
healthy
that.
dialogue. I don't think men have to be toxic in order to have a conversation. I know plenty of men that are able to have conversations about healthy, productive things, just like women are.
Well, it's not obviously something that I have personal experience with, but only 1% of all people on the death row are women in this country. So when women and men commit identical...
Okay, this guy's a fucking idiot. Here's why, okay? I shit on this all the time when I'm talking about, prisons are such a perfect example of feminism completely falling apart. And this guy's doing the exact same thing. We need more female death row inmates. Is such a dumb fucking take, dude. It's such a dumb fucking take, dude. Like, the point is, we need to apply a structural analysis as to why people are finding themselves on death row. What are the socioeconomic conditions that land more men in prison than women? Okay? It's so dumb that like both parties do this. Both sides do this. It's like they completely miss the mark. They completely fucking miss the mark and end up advocating for more punitive measures. And it's so silly. I hate it when feminists do similar things, like when they apply a similar analysis and those aren't like real feminists. And I hate it when, I guess, men's rights activists do a similar analysis as well.
crimes, women are much more likely to, for example, escape the death penalty. And that's just plain sex-based discrimination.
Yeah, women are just all, dude. By the way, 100% this is the same guy who says, 100% this is the same guy who says like, well, why is Brock Turner going to jail for an extended, why are you guys getting upset and asking for more punitive measures for Brock Turner just because he raped someone? Okay, dude, that's kind of fucked up. I thought you guys were woke. Like, it's so stupid. It's the same guy, 100% is the same guy who's like all of a sudden becomes a prison abolitionist when he thinks someone on his team has committed a crime. Okay? It's so dumb. It's like such a stupid fucking argument. Okay, let's keep going. Hold on.
I agree on.
That's true. Look, I'm thinking about basic needs like around the globe, the women who don't even have like proper like sanitary like products.
I mean, I have to agree. Just small things like a tax on a box of tampons. Do you think I choose to do this monthly? No, trust me. So why should I have to pay taxes when this is a medical necessity?
We're just like dismissed. A lot of our symptoms, a lot of the things we report, especially women of color, but women across the board, are just treated a lot less equally.
I'd say that I'm an advocate for what I believe the role that men play in society. I believe that their views should be expressed openly, that they should be given a platform to do so, and I believed in men unapologetically and unashamedly being men as we were created.
I think in my heart that there are things that men are entitled to. I am all about human rights, and I do consider the rights of every human, but every time I hear of a men's rights activist, I hear anger and I hear very illogical reasoning, and it just boils my blood because it's a setback for all of us.
I feel that the other side does not understand my values.
Hey, something we can all agree on.
I think a lot of times when a movement is created, the other side thinks that they're being attacked or think that it's some like attempt at erasure. That's not what feminism is about at all. What do you need a whole men's rights activism movement for? I'm sincerely confused.
Well, I mean, like, I will advocate for positive masculinity and what men should represent and healthy outlets for men. Like, I still think the Boy Scouts should be exclusively the Boy Scouts, for example, one of those things. Where I would like to think that we could get some
Notice how feminism is all about inclusion, like including women in traditionally male spaces, and men's right activism is about exclusion, excluding women from traditionally male spaces. That is the imbalance there, okay? That's what that is. That is the dumbass imbalance. And now someone is going to say something along the lines of, well, they have Girl Scouts. Well, from what I understand, I think it's lame as fuck, by the way. I'll just put that out there before we even get further into this. The Scouts is, and I was a Boy Scout, okay? Like, lame as fuck. If you're, especially as an adult, if you're still talking about Boy Scouts, you're fucking lame. From what I understand, though, the Girl Scouts is like extra lame, and it's all about like like selling cookies and shit. Whereas like at least Boy Scouts, you like learn some cool shit. Whereas like the traditional gender roles are reinforced in Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, I guess, which sucks. Like, and totally understandable that like some girls want to fucking do the cool shit. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so let's keep going. So that's why it's like a dumb conversation.
Common ground is when it comes to the clear biases that are in the court system, especially in the marriage and family courts.
And I don't mean like make Boy Scouts sell cookies. I mean make anyone who wants to fucking do like learn knife tricks and shit, learn knife tricks, okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like limited by, I don't know. I was a scout in Turkey. It was so stupid. In other countries, scouting is integrated. Yeah. In Turkey, scouting was integrated. In Turkey, scouting is integrated. I never heard your take, but I'm going to assume you're all for transgender women to compete in sports. Okay, we're not going to get into that right now. Whether it's for money and scholarships, yes. But I'm not going to have that conversation right now. Holy shit, that's a fucking cancer subject with like 3,800 people. We've had it so many times here. I'm done. We're not doing that.
Right? And right there is what I would advocate for when it comes to men's rights.
The things that stand valid, like that I'm hearing from y'all that are like valid to me, come from a place of like, I'm treated like unfairly by the system versus a lot of the things women are saying. It's also America and the system as well, but a lot of it is like harm from men.
How and where?
How and where what?
Where's this harm from men coming from?
Okay, it started when I was young. I'm not gonna talk too long. I was 16, got a bottle thrown at me because I told a boy no. It started when I was in a club, a boy touched me. I said no, he kept touching me. It got to the point he got violent. It gets to the point that the only reason why a man decided to stop touching me in the bookstore I talked about earlier is because he realized my husband was not too far away. And he said, sorry, bro, never said sorry to me. That's why, and that's off the top of my head. This is why I get upset, because I'm like, I'm here to talk about like how you feel, but when you just dismiss the fact that women...
Incels in the chat saying triggered, haha, or triggered re would shit their fucking pants if I was physical with them. Okay? If I walked up to them in a similar circumstance with a commanding presence and did a fraction of what she was describing, you would literally shit your pants. You'd piss and shit your pants, cry to your mom, and look for the nearest group of people. And it's a totally understandable fight or flight response that you would have in that circumstance. No one should do that to other people, okay? It's so dumb that like, again, it always goes back to how you see yourself. And the thing that really frustrates me is you ain't shit. I ain't shit either, okay? None of us are, we all like to see ourselves as this mythological, like, you know, masculine fucking man or whatever when we're not that person. And I think being honest about it is much better than like backing in to these like idealistic notions of traditional masculinity and then vilifying women who feel victimized or who are genuinely assaulted in public and making fun of them for expressing that is so dumb. It's so fucking stupid. Everybody knows you ain't shit. When you write in the chat, like, triggered, you would be in a similar situation, my friend. Okay? There you go.
Actually have experiences, that's when it seems like it's about more than your rights. It seems like it's about your ego. And that's where I get pissed off. Because how dare you tell another human being that their experiences, what they're telling you right in front of your face, is not valid.
I didn't say they were invalid. I said how and
Uh-oh. That was weird. What the fuck? Hold on. I accidentally kicked my I'm so stupid. I accidentally kicked my
It happened
there it
many
is.
times. It happened yesterday. It
why I'm
happened the day
here.
before.
Okay, I think some of the things that you guys are touching on, such as the court system and gender roles, are a subject of patriarchy, and that's part of what women are trying to dismantle, is those traditional gender roles.
Are there any feminist organizations that have done anything, for example, to challenge bias against men and fathers in
Yes,
the family court system?
absolutely.
Can you please give me like a list of feminist advocacy organizations
Look.
that have engaged in any meaningful advocacy to address those issues, because they are actually
Oh, that's the changing of a goalpost, okay? Notice how he's shifting from, can you give me some examples? And she was like, sure. He asked, are there any feminist advocacy groups that have advocated for men's rights? She says, yes. Then he goes, are there any meaningful advocacy? Can you give me a list of meaningful like advocacies that you have seen? It's so, is my mic fucked? Your mic sounds like, really? What? Hello? Hello? Fuck, dude. No, my voice changer isn't on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, it's not. This is the voice changer. How does it do? How does voice changer is on? Power down and reset your mic. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. I accidentally kicked the Wait, if it got fixed? Crean says, every day I watch this guy watch Jubilee videos and I think to myself, when does the song get a turn? When does he get to sit on an uncomfortable stool and maul at someone IRL? When does he get to hug it out afterwards and call them a cunt? Thank you, Creane. Is it fixed? Wait, what the fuck? I literally turned on the voice changer and then turned it off. And it fixed itself? Your voice gate is so fucking high. Let's see. Wait. Oh. Okay. No, my gate is normal. And my microphone levels are normal too, I think. Like, this is good. It's only bad in the ending and the beginning? It's still a scuffed? Okay.
None.
Okay, I know that you came with your little research or whatever. I didn't come with a list of like feminist organizations, but I know actively that there are women's organizations that are trying to dismantle those inequalities.
Just one name, just one
Again, I
organization.
didn't come with a list, my dude.
There are no such organizations.
Again,
In what ways are men
Owned, dude. Fucking owned, dude. Yeah, I fucking wrecked you, dude. I hate that so much. I hate it so much. Especially because if you reversed it, if you fucking pulled a reverse Uno, he is wrecked in a similar fashion. And the guys that normally do this are just doing it because they read like fucking Wikipedia articles. So they're like, oh, I'm the prominent. Yeah, where's the Crowder Notebook of Stats? Name one MRA group that has ever advocated for women's rights. Ay, ay, ay. Actually, to be fair to the MRAs, I bet he does have a list, okay? I've told you guys this before from the beginning. Like, these motherfuckers are like, they are straight up, like, they have the energy of a tour guide who's been working at the fucking wherever they're doing a tour for 35 years. They have the energy of a zookeeper when it comes to knowing everything, okay? They have memorized so much garbage information that it's just like they thrive on debates. So this is it. Like, they're waiting for their opportunity to be like, well, actually, according to the Norwegian Institute of Nationalist Sciences, a study conducted in 2008, women are actually better suited for working inside of the kitchen. Like, it's just, what are you going to do? How are you going to fucking counter that? It's like, well, oh yeah, well, I read that study. You're wrong. Here's a number of different studies that are actually correct. Like, no one fucking behaves this way. It's so annoying. They spend every waking moment justifying or trying to find whatever like empirical looking research justifies their tilted worldview. Okay? Isn't that kind of like internet atheists? They are literally. It's the same energy. You notice how comically bad the subtitles are? Yeah. Yeah, they're always terrible. I just keep them on usually, but
men's rights at risk?
I think there has been significant progress over the last decade or so, especially in the legal.
Imagine complaining about people researching their position. Imagine thinking that looking up fucking shit ass one-off non-peer studied research to fucking justify your confirmation bias is actually researching your side. Come on, homie. You can do this a little bit better, okay? I've been debating shitlords like you since I fucking got on Twitch. Good take, dude. I thought he was Turkish too. People are saying he's Greek. It's like research, like a fucking, yeah, flat earth research, dude. It's like talking to a flat earther.
Field, but I think there are still significant disparities that need to be addressed, such as poor health conditions, bias against men in the criminal justice system, bias against men in family courts, and bias against men in the educational system, especially in colleges.
Men and women should be allies.
He has a real Turkish body, dude. That's a Turk body. That's a Turk stance and a Turk body, okay? I'm going to keep it real with you. That's a Turk ass stance and a Turk ass body. İtele oğlum Yunan'a. He's fucking Turkish, okay? Whatever, dude. He has a Turkish accent too. I got real Turk vision, so I don't know. Kursat means Turkish hero. Why you capping? He's Greek. Adamın adı Kürşat oğlum. I know. These motherfuckers are like, he's Greek. He's Greek. He's Greek, bro. He's just Greek. Totally Greek, dude.
Men, unfortunately, many of them don't want to even have this open dialogue that we're sharing right now. We need men to help be allies, to help speak to other men.
It strikes me like the way you phrase this, you almost want men to say certain things that you want them to say, as opposed to maybe actually listening to what they're saying.
What certain
Like
things would I want to
just
hear?
kind of like men.
Oh yeah, that's a really fun point. Sorry, I gotta. Oh, he went to Bilkent. Oh my fucking god, Ankaralı bir de. Ankara bebesi lan. Any Turks in the chat? Any fucking Turks in the chat, dude? My man went to. Oh shit, reverse Uno. Okay, well before we get to what she said, based Ankaralı. Ankara bebesi. Tam Ankara bebesi amına kodumun Kürşat'ı. Ağzına sıçtığımın pezevengi. Burada utandırıyor Türkleri. Yavşak. Amına koyayım. Okay, Ankara bebesi. Okay, that was for the Turks in the chat. Okay, so this is one of my favorite points of view too, which is like he's contradicting himself by saying courts are biased since he previously said women are more nurturing by nature. It's like whenever they say like, oh well, women are more nurturing by nature, but also like the court system is biased because they keep giving women the children, but they're also more nurturing and they should take care of the children, except for in instances of court cases, in which case men should be getting the children.
This, you almost want men to say certain things that you want them to say, as opposed to maybe actually.
Are there any research studies that look into the impact of increasing diversity in work environments? Yes, they're all capitalist as fuck, but I think, what is it, like a 35% increase in revenue in diversified workplaces over non-diversified leadership positions? Like, not diversified workplaces, sorry, diversified leadership positions lead to a 35% increase in revenue year over year. Women are more aggressive. Why aren't more women in prison? Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Overall productiveness in the workplace as well. Why would that be a thing? Because fucking, what do you mean? Why would that be a thing? Capitalist businesses love scrutinizing every aspect that could potentially marginally improve their circumstances, marginally improve revenue, marginally improve productivity. So of course they look into this, like they look into every single thing. Make fun of incels for having random studies memorized. By the way, I mean, I'm a political commentator. This is literally what I do. I debate and talk about this shit for a living. Also, the difference is, also the difference is like when incels are fucking coming at you with shit, they oftentimes will pull anecdotal data or random fucking empirical studies. And whenever you point to them, whenever you point to like any sort of academic consensus, they'll say, well, there's a bias. There's a left-leaning bias in social studies. So that's why I have to go to these more fringe research, more fringe research to promote my point of view. Let's keep going.
Listening to men to say certain things that you want them to say, as opposed to maybe actually listening to what they're saying.
What certain
Like
things would I want to
just
hear?
kind of like men being allies, men talking to other men, etc. I'm completely okay with that, but I'm not going to repeat like feminist talking points to other men.
We all believe different things. We may be under the label of men's rights activists, but for example, I'm probably the most traditionalist person here. I think we should be allies, but maybe us being allies in a patriarchy wouldn't be so bad. You know, us going back to the past wouldn't be so bad. It would probably be a lot happier if we were, you know, getting married and staying married and having kids and, you know, going to church and all that, la-di-da-di-da.
While speaking to the three of you, I feel like they're...
Dude, these guys suck so bad, dude. I'm sorry. If you're this person, you suck. Like, just... Oh, God. Fucking tradcasts are so delusional, dude. I liked them more when they were fucking dipshit, tip, milady atheists, okay? What happened? What happened? it's just, why did all of these psycho fucking r/atheist dipshits turn into this guy now? How did this happen? It's got to be a grift. I just like legitimately cannot comprehend how there are people like him who are like, we really need to go back to a traditional society. Bro, you would literally be milked like a cow, okay? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Can we go back? Oh, God, everyone is such a pussy nowadays. I want to go back to a time when someone would harass me to the point where I would kill myself. It would be so awesome if everyone could just fuck me up because I'm obviously weaker than they are. What's the point of living in a fucking society if we're not going to constantly improve the living conditions of every individual, dumbass? It's so stupid. Like, yeah, can we go hunting for food? Gets bulldozed by a deer. Same energy, dude. Same energy.
Each coming from different perspectives. So it's hard to, again, just like our perspectives, it's hard to generalize. So to me, I feel like there are certain things that, even though we're not fully agreeing on it, things may get lost in translation, our verbiage may not be 100% correct, that we could at least agree on.
Can I ask one question? What would you envision would be the ideal man with the end goal of feminism as far as educating men or working to dismantle whatever patriarchy is? Like, what does that man look like?
It starts with childhood. We have to teach children as well as girls, because we're also taught, because of toxic masculinity, what a man should be as well.
I think that we just need to hold men accountable. In order to kind of make progress, we need help from people that will listen. Because let's be real, when we express our concerns, a lot of men refuse to listen, but they would be more likely to listen to another man.
Do you also feel like you have an ethical obligation to challenge other women or other feminists when, for example, they deny that men face discrimination?
When it comes to things like, oh, men can't be abused. I've had this conversation with another woman, and it's the idea that just because a man may be physically stronger than us, does that mean they cannot be abused? And because of that, again, fairness, women need to be held accountable as well. I want to understand their viewpoint. As a woman and a woman of color, I know how it feels to be disenfranchised. So I want to understand why they feel.
I'm having a really hard time paying attention to this. Am I wilding out? Are you guys having a hard, like, I feel like did they cut like half the fucking answers in this or something? It's just like really weird where they like skip around so much where I'm just like, what the fuck? What do you, like, I literally have to like rewatch it. It's because she's a woman. Yeah, I can't, it's my toxic masculinity. I can't just tune out women.
Stronger than us. Be abused. I've had this conversation with another woman, and it's the idea that just because a man may be physically stronger than us, does that mean they cannot be abused? And because of that, again, fairness, women need to be held accountable as well. I want to understand their viewpoint. As a woman and a woman of color, I know how it feels to be disenfranchised. So I want to understand why they feel the need to have a men's rights movement.
I feel empathy for the other side.
I don't think there's
Aren't
ever
these
a time
arguments
in my
kind of
life
silly?
where
Most
a
mammalian
person
species
says
fight over
they're
females to mate
hurting
because
and
it's
I don't
literally
at least
female's
try to
preference.
listen or understand. My only thing is that I want the same in return. So when I'm genuinely saying I'm hurting or I've been through something, and it's not just a
Most mammalian species fight over females to mate because it's literally female's preference. The fuck are men supposed to do when women find toxic masculinity sexy? Squaw fucking W. Like mating rituals. Like people try to fucking make the naturalistic argument for mating rituals, but that obviously has changed throughout time. Like when it comes to humans, I can't talk about like apes and shit, but for humans, it's very different. So appealing to nature like this, there's a reason why it's a fallacy. It's a very common fallacy that right-wingers use, Pogus Champus. Glad to see you get unbanned, by the way. That's a squad W boy right there. I've never met anyone who loves getting tormented as much as Pogus Champ is. Aren't you? You're the vet, right? No, he's not a Peterson fan. I mean, I really like him. I think he's funny as fuck. But like, I like him because he's one of those dudes who's like, no, I'm still gonna watch 9/11 Andy's channel. Like I know he like everyone is, I guess, blowing his shit out of proportion. Okay, let's keep going.
Personal experience, because I actively do this work and surround myself with women saying I've been hurt by a man before. I get that you have stories, but I mean, that's actually my question. I haven't heard y'all stories. Like, I've sat up here and said I have 3 on the top of my head. I have about
he's a long time
30
sub.
plus probably. And I haven't heard y'all say, this is what happened to me.
I don't think that I'll ever invalidate a woman's feelings when she says, hey, I've been abused or whatnot. I don't think any of us here are rightfully saying that. But I think what's dangerous is when emotional testimony that may not always be what it is gets, creates bias, right?
Okay, I feel empathy for women being lost, being misguided. Look, I don't know. You can go.
Do you have any bit of empathy?
Wait, no, come on, dude.
I don't know. You can go.
Do you have any bit of empathy for anything we said up here?
Yes, I really do feel empathy for
Why
women.
was that so hard to say? Like, for the stuff that we said, do you have any bit of empathy for the stories I said up here?
Yeah,
I just want to know.
I do.
Like,
Yes.
I'm not even trying to be hostile. I just genuinely want to know.
Yeah, I just think that like a lot of the problems that have happened in your life are because society is not patriarchal. It's not traditional. It's
Yeah, you wouldn't get raped or get treated like a piece of property if we lived in a patriarchal society, which would routinely undermine and refuse to offer you civil liberties. Because in his mind, he literally thinks like a man would save you, despite the fact that she literally used that as an example. Okay? She was like, I was getting sexually harassed in a fucking bookstore until my husband walked over. Derek, not looking good for the team, my guy. You are not doing a good job promoting the team. You're not putting the team on your back, homie. It's really bad. Bad look.
we're gone, we're lost, we're in a fallen state, right?
There is a change of guard, not necessarily a change of guard,
He
but
said- he
things
said it.
are
He said we're in a
evolving,
fallen
things are
state.
changing. And I feel like a lot of men speak from a viewpoint almost of fear. A lot of men are having a hard time grasping that and feeling comfortable with it.
I do feel empathy.
Speaking of incels, dude. Speaking of incels, sorry, quick update for like, you know, my regular audience. But Ross Douthat is a literal incel opinion columnist. He is their resident incel. Most famous works include we need prostitute robots. I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. Ross Douthat. He just gave the based incel gave his endorsement for Bernie Sanders. Very interesting. We'll look at that in a second after this. He's also kind of, was it Ross who also wrote about how we need WASPs to come back to positions of power, or was that another dipshit New York Times columnist? He did, right? Incel sex robot redistribution. Yep. He wrote that. My man wrote that. Thank God, by the way. If I got banned because I showed a New York Times, if I got banned for showing a New York Times op-ed photo, it would be great. That'd be really funny. But safe. Oh yeah, wait, he wrote that, right? Yeah, he did. Dude, he literally wrote about how like white Anglo-Saxon Protestants need to rule the country again. Like they need to be the ruling class. What a great guy. No, not insects, dude. He straight up said like He straight up said, like, we need to have white Anglo-Saxon Protestants run the country again. It doesn't get like more white nationalisty or white supremacist than that, I think, but whatever.
For your personal experience, but I cannot sympathize with your ideological position because that ideological position is built on a fallacy, and that fallacy is actually causing very real consequences for men as a class in this country. So I understand that you are here with us as kind of the good feminist, so to speak, that you feel empathy for men, and I believe you, but I do not believe your movement, and I do not believe your ideology.
Fear.
So wait, what is the...
A lot of men are having a hard time grasping that and feeling comfortable with it.
I do feel empathy for your personal experience.
Wait, so he didn't even say... What fallacy?
But I cannot sympathize with your ideological position because that ideological position is built on a fallacy.
What fallacy?
And that fallacy is actually causing very real consequences for men as a class in this country. So I understand that you are here with us as kind of the good feminist, so to speak, that you feel empathy for men, and I believe you, but I do not believe your movement, and I do not believe your ideology.
All right, we'll leave it at that. That's a wrap, guys.
Yay.
I'm sweaty.
Like
Okay.
You are very articulate.
Oh, thank you.
And so are you.
Yes,
Thank
so
you.
are
I've been
you.
listening to you for a long time.
Thanks for your
appreciate
time.
it.
Okay. Wow, that was.
God, I bet so many fucking cringe lords watch that and were like, men are so based.